everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast on a Thursday morning. I'm Bo Wolf, sitting next to Zach Berman. We are turning our attention to Eagles Bucs. We've got some news to get to, not a ton of news. Then we're going to do a little draft, Zach, a little game theory for you, see how much you've learned here on the new job. And if there's time at the end, we'll get to some more questions from yesterday. But first of all, how are you?
Doing great. Excited for the show.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Now that we are like on camera 5 days a week, how are you feeling about like your wardrobe situation? Do you feel like you have to expand your wardrobe? Is Emily coming in big here? What's the deal?
I think over time that will evolve.
Okay.
Haven't done anything deliberate.
So far,
yet.
you're good. You're feeling good
making sure
right now.
I'm shaving every day.
Okay. Because you are your hair on the face does grow in, strong, like a very masculine man.
I didn't know we were going masculine man. Thank you, Bo. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, the hirsute Zach Berman.
The wardrobe hasn't changed yet. This is what I would typically wear to a Wednesday practice or Thursday practice.
Okay.
Today is
not something that you're worried about, not on your radar.
Well, I'm cognizant of it.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I know this is a visual medium, so I'm cognizant of it, but it's not that's not keeping me up at night.
Okay, what is keeping you up at night?
Just making sure we have the best show.
Literally everything else?
Yeah, the best show, the best articles. Make sure you'll... this has been an abnormal week for the Eagles, right? They played last Thursday. They won't practice again until this afternoon, right? So there's essentially been a week off. As this gets going here and we get into a more traditional cadence, Sunday to Sunday, that type of thing, you'll find comprehensive coverage on allphly.com. You can find it on our Sixers coverage, our Flyers
Kelly
coverage.
Oubre
Yeah,
in
you
the
can make
fold.
sure to check that out. So Charlie O'Connor's pitching in with some Philly stuff right now. So allphly.com, that's where you'll find all our written material. Make sure you check that out.
And if you are watching on the YouTube channel, make sure that you are liking and subscribing, all that good stuff. Zach had a chance to talk to the coordinators yesterday. Now, we sort of previewed the answers at the end of yesterday's show, but how did it actually turn out in person?
About what I expected.
Okay.
About what I expected.
Did you learn anything?
I always learn something whenever they speak.
Okay. What did you learn from Sean Desai?
So Sean Desai sounded a bit, I don't want to say reticent about James Bradberry playing the slot. He did kind of say James Bradberry's their corner. Like, he's here to be their corner. But I still think from a matchup-to-matchup perspective, from a matchup-to-matchup basis, you'll see Bradberry inside when the matchup dictates it. Perhaps that's this week. Godwin isn't like always in the slot, but I think they might look at the Mike Evans matchup where Bradberry is there. So just something to be cognizant of in that regard. The overall from Sean Desai, he spoke about body types in the slot, why you see kind of the smaller, shiftier slot corners. He said there's this perception that the bigger guys don't necessarily have the change of direction. He talked about what specifically is unique about the slot, and this is something you hear. You're kind of defending your left and your right. You're in the field. They can go in a lot of different directions. One thing I hear from players a lot is you don't have the boundary, you don't have the sideline there to help you. So Desai went into detail philosophically on that.
This is one of those things where I remember like when I first started covering the Eagles. So this is like 2009, 2010, and Joselio Hansen is the Eagles' great corner, nickel corner at the time, and talking to him about like it's such a more difficult position because you guys have two-way goes. They can go either way, and like you don't get the sideline. And I'm thinking, oh man, this is like so interesting. I hadn't really like thought about this, and then it's like every single year this conversation has the exact same tenor to it, and like okay, maybe it wasn't that interesting when I wrote that Joselio Hansen story.
A, it was interesting. And B, yeah, you are right. There was a point in time, I think, like probably 2012, 13, 14, when a big talking point was, well, your base defense isn't your 4-3 or your 3-4. You're in nickel most of the time.
I think it's even later than that when that became like fully accepted that was.
I'm saying so that was like the the football hipster talk in 13, 14.
Oh,
and
sure.
15.
And yeah, oh yeah. Well, here's the thing though. Joselio, he's basically a starter for us. Like, yeah, like you got to think about that. He's on the field a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then because there's still kind of a stigma, if you recall, Brandon Boykin going into the 2014 season, or was it 2015 season, I believe it was, didn't want to be just a slot. And contracts were kind of representative of that as well. The Eagles ended up trading Boykin, but Boykin's like, don't look at me as just a slot. I think there's a little more sophistication now. Anytime we do one of these drafts, and we're a sophisticated football podcast,
no doubt.
But we never do 3 linebackers. We always have a slot corner in there. We've always talked about Avonte Maddox as a starter for the Eagles. So yes,
What happened to Brandon Boykin post Eagles? His body just break down?
He was in Pittsburgh for that 1 year injuries, and then he went into media down in. Well,
I know, but I mean, why? Yeah, why? Because he was a good player for the Eagles. Why did
he was a really good player?
It was injuries that ended his career.
Yep, injuries were the factor there.
Very good-looking young man,
if you say so. if you say
I think
so.
if I was putting together my all 22 of the most handsome Eagles over my time with the Eagles, I think Brandon Boykin would have to be on that list.
This is the type of analysis you can only find here. I guess the natural follow-up is who else would be on that list.
I'd have to think about that.
We have an hour show here.
Victor Abiamiri for sure.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll have to do some more thinking.
Okay. And you're a big D'Amico Ryans fan, as we know.
Oh, D'Amico. I mean, well, now we're talking. All right, so I got 3 spots locked down. Sound off in the comments if you want to talk about who the most handsome Eagles over the past decade plus are.
So Sean Desai spoke about Hassan Reddick as well. Hassan Reddick's production has been somewhat quiet through 2 games here, and that was consistent with last year too. And then he took off, and he said it's a compliment to Reddick that teams are addressing him with chippers, getting people around him there, and it's Desai's job to free him up. I asked Sean Desai back in training camp what he did to free up Robert Quinn in that 2021 season. Quinn had a huge year for him, and he said it didn't take much.
That reminds me of one of the very funny background scenes in the Kelsey doc, was just seeing Robert Quinn in street clothes on the bench during the playoffs. Like, oh yeah, he was on the team.
Nice guy, Robert Quinn.
Didn't he just get arrested?
Nice guy to me. Yes, he did just get arrested.
Okay.
He did just get arrested. So those were a few things from Sean Desai. From Brian Johnson, he was talking a lot about how defenses are playing the Eagles, going with the run there. And he basically said, you see what the opposing defense presents to you, and you need to respond accordingly. You need to adjust accordingly there. So it's not boring for him to call inside zone. Shane Steichen made a comment last year that like sometimes it can get boring doing that, and you have to be disciplined, and that's what Brian Johnson was really getting at. He said when you have great players the way the Eagles do, defenses are going to try to take certain things away, and then you need to react. Now, we can have a good conversation about whether you should react to the defense or you should make the defense react to you, but it is something that the Eagles do. Early in the game, they see the way teams are playing them, and then they adjust. Johnson said the Vikings gave them some favorable fronts for running the ball, and they took advantage of that. The QB run game, he said it's there. They just haven't had the explosives. The explosives are going to come. So that's something to be mindful of. And then in speaking to Michael Clay, as you predicted, the holding was a big topic.
Yes.
He said him and Jake Elliott,
Actually,
Jake Elliott's
he
involved
already
here.
has experience holding for Jake Elliott somehow.
Yes, during the summers. They spent some time together. Britton Covey was elevated, or not elevated, signed to the 53-man roster. So he's their punt returner going forward. Actually, yesterday before the press conference, Michael Clay watched all of Britton Covey's punt returns with the Eagles and talked about how Covey can be a threat in the return game. You never want to see the ball hit the ground. They need to be mindful of that. But those were some of the notes from the coordinator press conferences.
Do you agree with that with Covey?
I think of their options, he's the best. I think he is someone that could be upgraded on.
Right. I mean, their options include the entire rest of the league and people who are available.
Yeah. Now I haven't scanned the waiver wire for punt return options. I should, or the available options, but they like Covey, and Covey did finish the year last year well. He had a nice return against the Patriots, but the ball hit the ground there, and I don't think he's been so explosive for them.
I do think that he has some good make-you-miss ability, and we saw it a little bit more at the end of last year, and he had a nice return against the Patriots. But the ball security thing is not a new issue with Britton Covey. Like, this has happened before several times, and you can't be Britton Covey and not be secure with the football. And so he's like one of my favorite guys to talk to in the locker room. He's a super nice guy. I think there's upside there, but like, he cannot afford to continue doing that. Like, that is the most important part of that job, especially when you have an offense as explosive as the Eagles should be.
Wholeheartedly agree. And if you see the ball on the ground again, it's not as if Britton Covey's here forever, right? I mean, that's a vulnerable position if he fumbles again.
All right. Before we get to the draft, Zach, why don't you tell us about a different type of draft-related thing about the show?
Absolutely. I would love to.
From one king to another.
Well, it's a Thursday, and what better way to watch Thursday night football than with the DraftKings apps and DraftKings app in front of you? Because we're back with another week of football, and DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on the NFL action with great offers every single game day. New customers can get $5 and can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Throw 5 down on any of this week's epic matchups to walk away an instant winner. Of course, tonight's game, Giants 49ers. You can get in on the action there at DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. So the Eagles aren't playing on Sunday this week. You're in front of your TV watching games. What do you want to do? Check out DraftKings Sportsbook, where you can get 2 new offers every game day this September. Football's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the app now and sign up with code PHLY. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. With code PHLY, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. 21 plus. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Nice job.
Thank you.
All right.
I wanted to read that one because it's a Thursday. The games are on tonight. And, yeah, I will have that DraftKings Sportsbook app open on my phone.
Who do you like in the game tonight?
Well, San Francisco. But with the spread, you have to look. I don't like what the Giants have going into this game. Beat up offensive line. Don't have Saquon Barkley. Don't like the Giants overall. 49ers, I see 10.5 right there on the board in front of us. 49ers are a really good team. Expert analysis there. They're at home. Really leaning into the Niners tonight. You never know on these Thursday night games, but I just have a bad feeling about the Giants right now.
Okay.
What about you?
I mean, I hadn't really given it too much thought.
You haven't? Okay.
I think the Niners are going to win the game. I would probably take the points, but I'm not 100% convinced of that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of points to lay.
It is, but there's a big discrepancy between those two teams.
Well, that's why the points are so high.
Yes.
Good insight. All right. Let's get to the draft here, Zach. This is a thing that we've done before, but not necessarily in this context of a way of quantifying the strengths of these two rosters ahead of the game on Monday night. We are going to draft an entire team, each 22 players, 11 on offense, obviously. One spot where it could be a receiver, tight end if you want to flex that. And then on defense, 4 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker, 5 defensive backs, and then one spot where it can be a linebacker or an extra defensive lineman if you want. Should we do head coach OC DC for this?
We can. I don't have that on my spreadsheet in front of me, but I can. I can be impromptu.
The coordinators involved in the game. Yeah.
Is it Canales? Is that how you pronounce it? Canales.
Super Dave Canales.
Yeah. No, but the pronunciation. I know.
Famous Dave Canales.
For longtime listeners of our podcast.
Yes.
And now our show. I'm gonna be very cognizant of pronunciations here. Okay. So I want to make sure, and so.
Yes, I heard you working on who was it before the show?
Hurts.
No,
that was a joke. Okay.
There was a name that you were working on.
There was?
Yeah, a Bucs defensive back.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that a linebacker. The one they drafted out of Pittsburgh. I have that in front of me here. Let me pull up my notes. But the 5th round pick. He's actually grew up in Syracuse. It's Servokia Dennis.
There you go.
Servokia. Nice name.
Good job by you.
And he went to school in he went to high school, I believe, at the Petty School in South Jersey.
Nice. Right over there.
Yeah, north.
Yeah. All right. Rock, paper, scissors for the first pick. We're going to go 1 pick, 2 picks, and then bouncing back and forth 1-1-1 from there on out.
Sure.
All right. 2 out of 3?
2 out of 3, okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Yes.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
You got it.
1-0 me. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. 1-1. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Gotcha.
You got me.
Okay. So I got first pick.
You got the first pick. Seems pretty easy.
Okay. Jalen Hurts is my first pick.
Now, part of the deal of this exercise, Zach, is that when you make a pick, maybe you could talk about it a little bit, why it is that you think that's the pick, something about the player potentially, just in terms of, making this segment interesting.
Absolutely. I was about to. I was really, you make the number 1 pick. You wanted to.
You thought there was going to be ovation.
I remember our first day here.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
had a live audience.
Yeah.
You say hello, everybody. There you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brady.
that. So yeah, I say Jalen Hurts. Here I am. I'd land a franchise quarterback number 1. I feel good. I like Hurts over Baker Mayfield.
Sure.
And I just wanted the audience to know that, boom, I got the quarterback. So as you evaluate Bo's team versus my team, understand...
This is going to be tough to overcome.
Understand Bo's got his boy, Baker. Okay? And
I could take Tanner McKee.
Okay. And I got Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts is my number 1 overall pick. Why did I do it? Because he's the superior quarterback. Quarterback's the most important position. I think Jalen's a better player than how he's played these first 2 games. I also think Jalen's one of these guys who does not forget anything. Okay? And
He's like an elephant.
Yeah, and I think that even he has a press conference later today. I can't imagine he's going to play it up in that. He's going to play it down, actually. But that last game in Tampa, that stung. I think that's lingered, and I think this is one that he's mindful of. And he said after games last year, we remember what happened on Monday Night Football a year ago, or we remember what these guys did to us a year ago. I think he's pining to get back at this Todd Bowles defense, and it's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, and certainly the Eagles have a lot of time to prepare for this matchup. So. All the more reason we're curious there. This is not my pick, but in the interest of keeping things moving, I will just go ahead and give myself Baker Mayfield. That doesn't count as my pick. But Baker is playing better through 2 games than he has in recent years. He's 7th in the league in EPA per dropback, 5th in quarterback rating, 47 of 68 for 490 yards in 2 games, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Super Dave Canales, who we're talking about, is helping him get rid of the ball a little bit quicker than he has in his career. Quicker than he has at any point in his career. So Baker's not terrible right now, but look, he looks better this year than he did last year with Carolina and Los Angeles.
A quick Baker stat to be mindful of. You know how much I love third down defense, right? Baker Mayfield is leading the league through 2 games in completion percentage on third down, 87%.
Seems unsustainable.
He ranks second in the league in passer rating on third downs with 132.1. The Eagles are 21st in the league right now on third down defense at 44%. So be mindful of what they do on third downs in particular.
Well said. Okay, I've got 2 picks here. And, this exercise this week is interesting because the positions that matter the most are positions where both of these teams are pretty well stacked. Wide receiver, defensive line. The place where that is not the case is along most of the offensive line. And so also I should say for this exercise, we're taking into account like the state of guys right now. So if a guy is injured, like, you're taking him as banged up for Monday night, not just, over the course of the season.
We're trying to win this week.
And so I am going to go ahead and take 2 of the core 4. I'm going to take Lane Johnson at right tackle and Jason Kelce at center. I know that Tristian Wirfs is probably the best or probably the second best offensive lineman in this game, but because there's Jordan Mailata there too, and you only get 1 pick, I think there's a bigger gulf at center, so I'm taking Lane and Jason Kelce.
Okay. So I'm going to make sure that I get on the board at offensive tackle here, and I'm going to take Tristian Wirfs. And the thing about Tristian Wirfs is I can play him at left tackle or right tackle. He's the left tackle for the Bucs, but he's played right tackle in the past. So depending on how you go with the rest of your picks, but I feel comfortable in Wirfs, and Wirfs is really good, like you mentioned. He's the top guy on that Bucs offensive line. He's going to be a tough matchup for Josh Sweat, who's playing exceedingly well right now.
Okay. Do you want me to put him at left tackle for you now?
Yes.
Now, okay.
Yes.
Well, I will follow that up very easily by I'm going to go ahead and take Jordan Mailata.
Okay.
Can't let you have both of them. Now I've got Mailata, Kelce, Lane Johnson. I absolutely believe that Jordan Mailata last week played the best game that an offensive lineman has played in the history of the NFL. So I'm going to go ahead and put him at left tackle.
Okay. So then I can wait on my next offensive tackle for.
You can, unless I'm going to take a guy who could be a tackle and play him at guard. But yeah.
I wouldn't put that past you. I know what I'm supposed to do in these situations is emphasize wide receiver because you like to lock me in at wide receiver. But like you said, I have my board in front of me by position. Wide receiver, edge, D-line, even corner are really deep.
Yeah,
okay?
It's interesting.
And so do I betray the way I truly feel a team should be built, which is on the line of scrimmage? In all these drafts, I focus on the line of scrimmage. And I know from doing these drafts with you that I'm supposed to go wide receiver to counteract you. Or do I say, you know what, I'm taking a position where there's a great delta? Okay?
I think this is interesting.
So, again, we might be doing this every week. And I don't want, I make picks sometimes.
We'll see how self-learning you are. Yeah.
I make picks sometimes that you end up making fun of me about for years to come. I spoke to Trey Thomas on the phone over the summer, and all I was thinking in my head was like,
this is my guy.
Yeah, was Bo teasing me about that. But there's a part of me that wants to go Antoine Winfield here because there's no other safeties, and I'm gonna need good D back play. And that's I think I'm going to do that because we're doing 1-1-1 and I can react.
Interesting.
If you go receiver, I know I'm not going to be boxed out at the position.
Okay.
So I'm going to go Antoine Winfield here so I have the top safety in the game.
Wow. You know what? You gave that whole preamble and I thought you were going somewhere else.
Okay.
You say that safety is the biggest delta. I think the biggest delta on the board by a long shot here is tight end.
Okay, fair enough.
And so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Dallas Goedert. It feels early, but, Cade Otton, Jack Stoll, your boy, that's a big difference. And as long as I'm guaranteed, 1 or 2 of these wide receivers, I get the huge difference at tight end. I'm going to go ahead and take Dallas Goedert.
Okay.
All of a sudden, my run game is in better shape than yours.
Okay.
I'm feeling good about that.
I'm not disoriented here. And we're only going one. We only have to go with one linebacker, so I don't have to force linebacker, even though there's delta at that position. I'm just going to stick to the integrity of the board here, and I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to go edge rusher.
Okay.
And I like. There's four edge rushers that I like. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go Hassan Reddick. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go Hassan Reddick. I feel good about that.
Slow start to the season for Hassan Reddick.
Yep.
He's dealing with that thumb injury, and you still take him first.
Yes, still going Hassan
Okay,
Reddick.
that's interesting. And see, this is tough. I think I have a chance here to. This is not what would be my pick in terms of value, obviously, position value. But I think just looking at the board and the differences here and where your roster is and where my roster is, this is a chance for me to really make a big difference against you. I'm going to take Landon Dickerson at left guard. And so now your offensive line, aside from Tristian Wirfs, is going to be very iffy, just like the Bucs offensive line is very iffy aside from Tristian Wirfs. So now I have Mailata, Dickerson, Kelsey, and Lane Johnson. I'm feeling pretty good there.
Okay, give me A.J. Brown.
Okay.
You want analysis there? Is A.J.
Please,
Brown
yeah,
is
Did
that
you
good?
consider Devontae Smith or Mike Evans over A.J. Brown?
Over? No. I think A.J. Brown is the best receiver in this game, and I think a big A.J. Brown game is coming, and I think when I join you on the post-game show Monday night, sometime around 11 o'clock there at Raymond James Stadium, maybe I have a little energy from the Banana Fosters at halftime. I will be...
Bree like that. She got a kick out of that.
Yeah, they serve Banana Fosters at halftime in Tampa Bay. Cuban sandwiches before the game, Banana Fosters at halftime. It's pretty good. We'll be discussing a big game from A.J. Brown because I think he's going to be fed the ball.
I'm going to be discussing and asking you about the Bananas Foster.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going a big A.J. Brown game. I don't want to let you run up the score at wide receiver, so I will respond to that with Devontae Smith.
Okay.
And I considered Mike Evans here. Very good start to the season for Mike Evans. But I'm gonna go Devontae Smith. I believe in Devontae.
So then I'm gonna jump in quickly here and not think hard about this and go with Mike Evans, who has been a big play guy this season. You look at his 20+ yard receptions near the top of the league. 2 big games. Age has not slowed him down. Playing for a contract this year. I got AJ on one side. I got Mike Evans on the other side. This is big boy football. This is like when Brandon Staley said he's going to build his wide receiver core like a basketball team that has this size mismatch, and they play above the rim.
Do you think of Mike Evans as a future Hall of Famer?
Yes. He's had a 1,000-yard season every season he's played, correct?
He's the only player in NFL history with 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons to open his career. Pretty crazy. But he's only got 4 Pro Bowls and no All-Pros. So it's like stat accumulation. Like would you ever think that Mike Evans was the best receiver in the league? But
not the best, but top 5 to 7. Sure.
So the longevity matters.
Yeah, the longevity definitely matters.
I don't know. It's an interesting discussion, I guess.
And by the way, only 3 of those seasons he played with Tom Brady, right? So it's not as if he's had like outstanding quarterback play this whole time. It's not. No, I'm a big Marvin Harrison might be one of the top 3 receivers of my lifetime, but he played with Peyton Manning all those years.
Which Marvin Harrison?
Oh, well, senior, but junior can play too. Someone's been watching college football this year. I like it, Bo.
I don't think I need to have been watching college football to know about Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay. I was about to ask you about the Temple Miami game this weekend or the Villanova Rhode Island game to see which one you're going to.
I'm taking Princeton. That's what I've got.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Zach. If you did want to buy tickets to that Temple Miami game or the Villanova Rhode Island game, you might want to wait to the last minute and use GameTime. Because buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. You got flash deals and last-minute tickets. You got easy-to-find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Zach's always on the market for some comedy. You might be able to use GameTime for that. You've got the images of seat views, the lowest price guarantee, and event cancellation protection, plus job loss protection. Forget planning months in advance. GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. The GameTime guarantee means you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. 110%. That's exactly how hard Zach works every single day. Snag the tickets without the stress with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off.
By the way, I am going to a college football game this weekend. Right now, I'm planning on taking my son to the Villanova, Rhode Island game. But that Temple-Miami game seems appealing. Although the weather right now is a little concerning too.
Might be bad weather.
Depends what time my son's soccer game ends. But I am taking him. I want to go to a football game with him. This is one of those Saturdays when I'm home because I don't leave for Tampa till Sunday. So yeah, I'm planning on taking my son to a college football game this weekend.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I'll report back on Tuesday or Thursday or Friday next week about how it went.
I mean, you should probably report back before Friday of next week.
Well,
we're going to be doing a show every day.
Yeah, so this is the thing. This week, we kind of like had to stretch out some of the content, right? Next week's going to be one of those where we fit a lot in a condensed period of time.
That's true.
Right? So we're going to, I don't know how much time we'll have for small talk about our weekends next week. Because
where there's a will, there's a way.
Because if we have to dissect the Eagles-Bucs game, look ahead to the Eagles-Commanders game. Who knows what the big storyline is going to be that week. Next week's going to be a fun week at PHLY.
I agree. I'm going to go ahead and just knock off Chris Godwin here.
Okay.
I don't want to be stuck with total garbanzo beans at wide receiver. I think there's a pretty obvious drop-off after Chris Godwin to the likes of Quez Watkins and Olamide Zaccheaus. So I'll take Devontae, Quez Watkins, and Dallas Goedert as my receiving trio.
That's a good group.
Chris Godwin, by the way, Zach, you mentioned it before, not in the slot quite as much as he's been in years past. That's one of the interesting changes to the Bucs offense this year. He's down to 35% of his snaps in the slot, which is 34th of 79 qualifying receivers. Last 2 years, he's been above 60% each of those years in the top 10. So interesting usage for Chris Godwin.
Yeah, and when we talk about how the Eagles would deploy James Bradberry and Darius Slay this weekend, that's something to be mindful of as well. You probably feel more comfortable with Mario Goodrich in the slot against Trey Palmer than you do against Chris Godwin.
I imagine they will, because of that, they will probably put him back in the slot more this week.
Real quick, Chris Godwin stat while we're talking about him. Can you guess this here?
Toucan?
Don't look at my computer.
I can't read that far.
Chris Godwin has the longest active streak in the NFL of games with 5 or more receptions. Can you guess what that streak is?
Yes, I believe it's the streak with 5 or more receptions.
No. How? You know what I'm saying. How long? All right, the audience here, the chat, you knew what I was asking, correct? Okay, this is Bo being unnecessarily tough.
I'm going to say 17 games.
It's close, 16.
Wow. I mean, what a bet. What a guess.
17. Yeah, he surpassed Keyshawn Johnson last week for the longest stretch in Bucs history, and it's tied for the 13th longest streak in NFL history.
Wow. Did you get that from the game notes, or did you find that yourself?
I mean, do I have to show my work here? That was in the Bucs game notes.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the kind of thing that you wouldn't have just looked up yourself.
Yeah. Those were in the Bucs game notes.
They're doing hard work over there. You're putting it to use.
Exactly. I I always make sure that I read both teams' game notes.
All right, you're up next, Zach.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Josh Sweat here, so I feel comfortable
Wow.
with both my edge rushers. I know Tampa has 2 good edge rushers, but I will take the Eagles' edge rushers over them. So I know you're a big Joe Tryon guy.
That is my guy.
But look, I got Reddick and Sweat. I feel good about that.
I am surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised knowing how much you love Josh Sweat, and that's fair. You're going to have better edge rushers than I am.
You're surprised I took him over Barrett, over Shaq Barrett?
No, I'm surprised you took him over Vita Vea, who I'm going to take here. Now, I know that the Eagles are very loaded at defensive tackle, but I think if we were just drafting the best players in this game, you could make an argument that Vita Vea would be like the first best player. I am thrilled to get him here. I was thinking about taking him earlier. I think he is going to, as the first and only player on my defense at the moment, all of a sudden I'm feeling good about my defense because I have Vita Vea.
Okay, I believe edge rushers matter here, and this is a little game theory here. I'm taking Shaq Barrett. What? What? I can't do that. You do this to me all the time.
You can
Bo.
do that, Zach, but how often do you see a defense with 3 edge rushers on the field at the same time?
Don't they cycle these guys in and out?
Yeah, but this is about having a unit on the field. This is supposed to be reflective of what a defense could look like.
This is game theory, and I did appreciate our listeners point out that you just assigned yourself Baker Mayfield, by the way.
Yeah, because there's no other quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
There,
I mean,
for instance, if I took a head coach, you're going to just get the other head coach.
so
The Baker Mayfield, there's no other flex position.
I could play Baker Mayfield at running back. And
No, that's never the way that we've done it.
okay. Yeah, so I'm going with Shaq Barrett here, and you are going to have to rush the quarterback without any of the 3 top edge rushers in the game. Enjoy. You said I have a flex position on defense.
Yeah.
Did you not?
You are betraying the like, what's the word I'm looking for? The integrity of the game here.
I'm betraying the integrity of the game.
Yeah.
Do we not have a 4-year track record of you boxing me out of certain positions?
Yeah, with wide receivers who you can put on the field. It's, this 3 edge rusher thing you've got going on. Yeah, it's fine. I'm going to have to expose these guys in space.
Do I need to teach you about game theory, Bo?
You're still losing.
That's subjective here.
I'm going to take Jalen Carter.
Okay.
I'm happy with that. So now I've got Vita Vea and Jalen Carter. We saw Jalen Carter rushing from the edge last week. Who's to say he can't do it again?
Who is to say?
Okay.
Yeah, that is fair. So now, do I go Jordan Davis?
I don't think that like the move you made with Shaq Barrett there is as bombastic as you think. I mean, Shaq Barrett had a really good stretch from 2019 to 2021 when he was like 4th in the league in sacks. He's 31 now. He's coming off a year in which he played 8 games. He is not the same player that he once was. Who's to say that he is any better than Joe Tryon-Shoyinka or Brandon Graham or even your boy Derek Barnett at this point?
Well, you know what I could do right now?
You could do whatever you want.
I could play Josh Sweat inside, rush Josh Sweat from the 4-eye technique, and I can go Joe Tryon here. And I have this NASCAR line.
Okay, I'm just going to run the ball. I'm going to do exactly what the Eagles did to the Vikings last week.
You're going to run the ball. You're going to run the ball.
With Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, Dallas Goedert, and Lane Johnson, and you're putting Josh Sweat in the middle of the defense, yeah, I think I'm going to be feeling pretty good about being able to run the ball on you.
So you got Devontae Smith and Chris Godwin, and you're just going to run the ball with Rashid White or DeAndre Swift. Okay. So
I mean, I don't think that I think you think that you have done something to me, and you're just you are in
you're on your heels right now. I like
trying to outplay me. You are just creating a bad team.
You are on your heels. I like this.
I'm not on my heels at all.
Tracer Bullet says do it. So could I do that? You know what? I'm going to adhere to the integrity of the game, and I am not going to do that.
Do whatever you think is what you want to do because it's not going to work.
I'm going to go Jason Kelce. What?
You're going to go Jason Kelce?
Is that bad move to make?
It is a bad move to make because that was my second pick of the draft.
Okay, I thought you
have you been paying attention?
Sorry. All right.
You're going to go Jason Kelce? All right.
I know
you take Kelce, I'll take Jalen Hurts, and then we'll see what happens from there.
You are fired up right now. I like this.
Jason Kelsey.
I didn't realize you went Kelsey there. Okay. I knew you went Lane. Okay, and 2-3. Okay, yeah, you went 2-3. Fair enough. You're correct.
I know I'm correct. I'm keeping track.
So I'm gonna go with. I'll go with Levante David as my top linebacker.
Okay.
He's my one linebacker on the field. He can patrol the area. Let's go Levante David.
Okay. I'm going to take Darius Slay.
Okay.
I think he's the best corner in the game. There's some other good corners in the game, but I think there's a pretty strong case that he's the best.
I don't want to be boxed out here. I'm going to go James Bradbury, who I like. I know he's dealing with something here. James Bradbury can play the slot for me. He can play, we know he's an accomplished guy on the outside. So I feel good about that pick. I have Winfield and Bradbury in my secondary. I have Levante David at linebacker, and I have the 3 best edge rushers in the game.
Okay. I will take... tough call. Instead of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and take... Sorry. Give me...
So I know I threw him off. He doesn't know which way to go.
Give me Carlton Davis. So
Okay.
I have
Carlton
guaranteed
Davis
having better corners.
is dealing with a foot injury. Did not play last week. Did not practice last week. So you have a cornerback with a foot injury.
And you have a cornerback who can't open his eyes with the lights on.
I have a cornerback who can't open his eyes.
He
with
has
the
not
lights
yet gotten out of the
Okay.
concussion protocol.
Okay.
So, like,
I was
you just took James Bradbury, who
I was like,
also
did
didn't
something
play
happen
last
to
week.
his eyesight? I'm going to go with Jamal Dean. I have good size for my corners here. Combating your group here. Jamal Dean, 3rd-round pick in 2019. Has been played well in the league.
I believe it is Jamel.
Correct. Jamal.
Okay.
Working on my pronunciations.
Okay. I will go ahead and take Joe Tryon Shoyinka, so you don't put Josh Sweat in the middle. 18 quarterback hits last 2 seasons. He's one of the best young pass rushers in the league. Not quite on the Micah Parsons, Jalen Phillips level, but after that, he's right up there. He does very well in those, the Capadia pass rush index for guys under 25. I'm happy to have him, and he's going to have plenty of opportunity because the heft of my interior pass rush is very significant.
You'd love yourself a nose tackle, right? So do I go Fletcher Cox or Jordan Davis here? Jordan Davis has been playing real well. I do want the nose against your interior. I have Jordan Davis going up against Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey's going to have to deal with that size. So now I'm going to have Robert Hainsey going up against Vita Vea. That's going to be a tough one as well. So I am going with Jordan Davis here.
You're going to take Jordan Davis?
A unique player. Yep.
Okay. In that case, I will take Fletcher Cox. As my flex. I'll be playing a 5-man front. I think that's a nice big edge for me there, and see how you respond. Okay.
So I could go with so you can't go D-line here. So should I just fill that out?
That's true. I can't take a defensive tackle.
So I will go with Kalea Kancey, who's also dealing with an injury.
Over Milton Williams.
And then...
I feel like you hate Milton Williams.
I hate Milton. No,
every time we talk about Milton Williams, you're downplaying him. Like, I don't think that they need to re-sign him. I said he was going to be the breakup player on defense. Like, oh, that's a bold pick. Like, what do you have against Milton Williams? He's been very good.
Nothing. Like Milton Williams. Always enjoy speaking to Milton Williams.
Instead, you're taking a rookie defensive tackle with tiny arms who's injured.
Taking a 1st-round pick who had terrific testing. You were going to have to stop a pass rush that has Josh Sweat, that has Hassan
you look
Reddick.
good on the edge, but I'm not worried about Kalea Kancey.
Okay.
Last night with the kids, Casey asked me what a dinosaur walks like, and so I for the first time did a T-Rex thing, and it made me think of Kalijah Cansey with the short arms. Yeah.
Speed matters. You know that.
What does that mean?
What does that mean, Cansey?
What does that mean?
What does that mean, Cansey?
He hasn't done anything.
Okay, I mean, it's
going to be the third game of his career.
He's 2 games into his career.
Yeah, but you're drafting him for the third game of his career.
Okay, then give me Milton.
No,
Williams,
you
okay?
already made the pick. You made the wrong pick. It's on the board.
Yeah, I like.
This is like Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson level of same position bad pick.
Over Milton Williams is the equivalent of going Justin Jefferson over Jalen Reagor or Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson.
I do.
That is ridiculous. What is Milton Williams' agent endorsing you right now? I mean, come on. Yesterday you gave him a contract extension. Okay.
Yeah, he's a good young player.
You're prioritizing giving their 4th defensive tackle a contract extension right now.
Yes, he's a good player.
Hey, Devontae, hold on. Landon Dickerson, hold on. Milton.
I don't think that Milton Williams' money is going to take away from Devontae Smith's money.
Yeah, you're prioritizing Milton Williams here. Okay.
Yeah, he's a good player.
So is Cansey.
He hasn't proven anything.
We shall see. Now he is injured. So the injury report matters here.
All right. So you're taking Cansey, but that is not your actual.
That is not my actual pick. Let me pull up my draft board here, which actually is no longer.
Well, while you do that, then I will just go ahead and put Brandon Graham as my my other edge rusher.
Okay. So there's not really a slot that I like actually.
Now we probably shouldn't have done that because I could have taken Milton Williams and put some of these guys on the edge, but
so look, if we're going based on the performances that we saw, what I saw actually, I received a news release yesterday about the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Do you know who that was?
No.
DeAndre Swift, 175 yards, career high. Okay. One of the top rushers in the NFL this season based on that performance. And the Bucs have really had a hard time running the ball this year.
Really bad.
Yeah. So while you decide between Kenny Gainwell and Rachaad White or Sean Tucker, Syracuse boy, I am going to go with DeAndre Swift. Boom.
Okay. I think that's a reasonable pick, although it's a running back, but that's fine. As you said, Rachaad White, 3.3 yards per carry. Their offense has been really bad at running the ball, and it's not even like they're facing a low percentage of 8 defenders in the box too. So it's just that offensive line, which is basically your offensive line now, is going to have trouble running the ball. So I will go ahead and finish my offensive line, and I'm going to take Cam Jurgens. And so I have the Eagles starting offensive line in its entirety. So there's no concerns about how these guys are going to fit together. The hive mind, they're all moving as one. I've got Mailata, Dickerson, Kelsey, Jurgens, and Lane Johnson, and you've got Tristian Wirfs, and you can decide if you're sticking with the Bucs or if you're going to throw some Eagles backups in there.
Okay, and just for the record and for everyone here who's judging which team's better or not, you have Baker Mayfield at quarterback, and I have Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
Yeah, I'll run through it all at the end.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we established that while you tally.
Yeah, not because you drafted him over. You got the first pick and you had the very easy selection. While you think about your next pick, Zach, I will tell you about FOCO. FOCO is a leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, and more. It is the best officially licensed gear for all sports and fandoms. It's football and tailgating season. Overalls, hoodies, hats, sunglasses, bags, everything you need for a game. FOCO has hooked PHLY up and provided awesome pieces for our sets. Just look to around the Underdogs book that's on the shelf behind Zach. FOCO always has our back for Philly sports, and they have yours too. Get the best gear around by using the link in our description. For all non-presale items, use the promo code PHLY for 10% off.
So the second safety here is interesting. Ryan Neal, a former camp body from the Eagles.
I believe the only former Eagle on the Bucs.
You might be right there. Ryan Neal, who has
They thought of him as a camp body, but he's turned out to be much more. He's had a pretty good career.
Yeah,
and the Eagles waived him and Jeremy Reeves, who went on to be a Pro Bowl special teamer.
Guy. Yep. So,
do you remember the other? Can you name the other undrafted safety who was a part of that class?
When you say it, it will jump to me. But this was the 2017 season, correct? Or
I think it was 18.
2018 season. Who was it?
It was Auburn's Stephen Roberts.
Okay,
who,
I wasn't going to say that.
Who said that his nickname was Skinny Pimp.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Okay. That's probably why you remember it.
It is.
So on my board here, I have Reed Blankenship over Ryan Neal. I don't know if that's the way to go or not. Blankenship dealing with an injury.
I would agree with
that. But I don't feel compelled to really push that. There's not a great slot cornerback in this game. The Bucs have been using an undrafted rookie in that spot, and he's been actually pretty decent. It's the kid from Rutgers, is it? Izine? Am I pronouncing it correctly?
It's Christian
Izine.
I think it's Izian, but I could be wrong.
Izian. That sounds more right than that sounds correct. I don't need to take any of my offensive linemen here, so really the only competitive spots we're looking at are safety and corner, correct?
Wide receiver, tight end.
Wide receiver and tight end. You're not going to play 12 personnel, are you? So
I could.
You could go Kate Otten there.
Kate Otten, by the way, the only player in this game, Zach, whose first initial and last name together is a clothing material.
That's the type of insight only Bo can provide. Well done.
Cotton.
So you're looking at Trey Palmer or Quez Watkins. I'm going to go Quez Watkins. I want a little speed.
Banged up, though.
Banged up. I get that. He's had a lot of time here. As we said, they haven't played in a week. He hasn't played in a week, or the Eagles have. The Eagles actually haven't practiced since before week 1. So being at practice today, they might have to get a reminder for how to do it. I'm going to go with Quez Watkins right here.
Okay. In that case, I will go ahead and, despite the rib injury, take Reed Blankenship as the first of my 2 safeties.
Okay. So you having done that, I'm going to take Ryan Neal as my safety. I have some good size on the field between Bradbury, Dean, and Neal, and then Antoine Winfield, who's a personal favorite of mine. Probably a little overdrafted, but did that because of the delta at the position.
This is not my pick, but just for the record, putting Devin White as my linebacker. I'm going to go ahead and I guess corner is where I need to go here because everything else is filled out. So I will take. I go with Josh Jobe, and I don't really have a true nickel. Do I take Izian? Zion McCollum, brother of Tristian McCollum, is on the board as well. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take Josh Jobe and figure it out.
Okay. So then I don't have to take him here because you're not going to take a corner.
I don't think you need to take anybody else. I think you can just fill out your roster at this point.
I'm going to go Zion McCollum, actually, who's been playing decently for them. PFF, your favorite site, has him ranked 14th among corners. I guess, so the question for me at tackle is, do I go with a backup like Jack Driscoll or Tyler Steen, or do I go with Luke
Gedeke?
Yeah, Luke Gedeke. For the integrity of the game, I'll just go with the starting line. I'll go with Gedeke, I'll go with Hainsey, and I'll go with Cody Malk, who Brian Balderinger said on his show, on our show the other day, that he liked coming out of North Dakota State.
It's crazy that we just ended up with the full offensive lines that,
I'm not thrilled about that.
Mr. Build by the line of scrimmage has decided to take the just worse offensive line, but that's how you've done it. I'm going to take Kenny Gainwell over Rashad White as my running back, and I'm actually I'm going to lean into my dominance on the offensive line of scrimmage against your light defensive line, and I'm going to take Jack Stoll and play in 12 personnel, and be excited about that. So
I got Kate Otten as my tight end.
Kate Otten as your tight end. Okay. So here's the lineups. Zach. On offense, Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans. What a start. Quez Watkins, Cade Otton, Tristan Wirfs, Matt Filer, Robert Hainsey, Cody Mauch, and Luke Gedeke. That is playing against my defense, which is Vita Vea, Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox in the middle, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and Brandon Graham on the outside, Devin White at linebacker, Darius Slay, Carlton Davis, Josh Jobe, Reed Blankenship, and Justin Evans. On the other side of the ball, Baker Mayfield with Kenny Gainwell in the backfield. He's throwing to Devontae Smith, Chris Godwin, and Dallas Goedert, and Jack Stoll. But this offensive line, oh baby. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, Cam Jurgens, and Lane Johnson going up against Zach's defense, which has Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis, Kalijah Cansey, Hassan Reddick, and Shaq Barrett, Levante David, James Bradbury, Jamel Dean, Ryan Neal, Antoine Winfield, and Zion McCollum. I think, honestly, my team after the quarterback is better, but your quarterback is better, and that might be the difference.
I mean, I think rushing the quarterback is going to be a big deal in this game, and I can come at you in a lot of different ways. I got 3 really good edge rushers.
I'm going to run the ball down your throat.
Okay. I mean, I got Jordan Davis in the middle. Josh Sweat's been playing well against the run. I'm not worried.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Levante David cleaning things up, sideline to sideline. Levante David, a little old, was drafted the same year as Michael Kendricks, the 2012 draft.
Wow, yeah, that's a good one.
The 2012 draft. And then I got, I'm going to beat you up.
Wow, the chat is weighing in, and it goes, it's looking very much like a Bo Wolf win here.
I see the chat saying long slog drives for Bo all day. That means it's a big Bo win.
Close, but I have Bo here. Bo's defense is nice.
ZB's defense is also nice. ZB has a tidy D. Thank
Always
you,
have to go with the best O-line.
Okay. Tracer is a known minion. We should say that.
Well, he's a very handsome guy.
This is a fun exercise. I would be interested in doing this every week.
I like this,
The thing is, the Eagles don't change every week, so that's
right. But I think it is in terms of this matchup. For Monday night, it is interesting in contextualizing that, like where the Eagles are really strong. Aside from the offensive line, the Bucs are also strong. Like the Bucs also have a very good defensive line. Their secondary is good, better than the Eagles in total, and their wide receivers are very good. So the Eagles have a big edge in theory at quarterback, and they have a better offensive line, but I think the Bucs have a better defense in all. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
In terms of the way they're built, of course, Jason Light is a former Eagles staffer, came up with Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman and the Roseman family and the Light family have a long background together there. So you can see that. Now, the coaching staff... We
didn't end up doing the coaching staff.
We didn't end up doing the coaching staff, but I would say that Todd Bowles is a really good defensive mind. His teams haven't always been good as a head coach. He still needs to prove himself here, right? But as a defensive mind, he's up there with anyone. Nick Sirianni's on a hot streak here. Of course, Sirianni has had a really good roster in place, but you give him credit there. Dave Canales is 2 games into his career as an offensive coordinator, but like you said, he's doing good work with Baker Mayfield. Brian Johnson, 2 games into his time as an offensive coordinator as well.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. again. We will have some more information from the NovaCare complex. The Eagles will actually practice today, so we'll have a better idea of the injury situation for some of their players. We're going to have another rousing edition of Goose Wisely as we preview the game one more time. And so for Zach and Kalijah and Cotton and Bree, I'm Bo. We thank you for watching, for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.